Hey Soulful Nutrition team. So today I'm going to continue my series on Myfitnesspal and how to most accurately track. That's going to be part 2 is how to accurately track in there. So to give you some kind of maybe shocking statistics, most of the time we aren't tracking completely accurate in Myfitnesspal, even when we think that we are trying our utmost best to track in there. We just don't always accurately track. I can't remember the exact numbers, but even as dietitians, so somebody who has formal education and training on measuring and tracking and food logs, the accuracy rate is just not that high. So that's why I want to give you some tips today on making sure you're tracking at your very best. That way it can really help you out. Now, if you aren't using Myfitnesspal and you are using just a paper food log or using some other way to track, this is also true for you as well. And like I've said before, and I want to emphasize over and over again, tracking is not the end-all be-all. I don't want you all to feel like you're going to be tracking for the rest of your life. I really don't even want you tracking for the rest of your life. Think of tracking as an educational tool only to help you get to where you want to be. So I don't track on a regular basis. If I have a certain goal I'm working towards, I might track for a couple days or a week or so to help me assess where I'm at. So you can do stuff like that, but right now I like you to track because it helps me help you get to your goals. Since I can't follow you around and see all of your meals, I don't know what's going on if I can't see your food. So there's a lot of ways you can track, like I said, Myfitnesspal, other food apps, writing your food log, taking pictures of your food. So regardless of the method that you're using now for tracking, these tips will be helpful to make sure you're doing it most accurately. So number one way you can track, and you can use it in a pinch, is just eyeball or estimating. This is the least accurate. If you can guess, that is going to be the least accurate, but you know, in a realistic world, that's how we're going to track a lot of the times, especially when you're not actually logging everything. So, you know, as you go along and you start just kind of paying attention to your food more, you're going to be estimating, eyeballing. This is something that as you track your food regularly, you get better at. So like if I were to have you guess what 1 cup of cereal looked like and you've never done that before, you'd probably be a lot more off in your estimate than me or somebody who has measured out 1 cup of cereal over and over again. So the estimating way is the way that I want you to go about after you've had lots of practice and experience with tracking, or when you are out and about and you don't have the option to track in a more accurate way. The second way to track that is pretty accurate but not the most accurate is using measuring cups and measuring spoons. So most people have measuring cups and measuring spoons. If you don't have them, I highly recommend them. If that's not something you can afford, please let me know. I would love to get you some measuring cups and measuring spoons. They're very helpful for your tracking. So as silly as it may sound, I will often say use measuring cups as your serving spoons. So if you want to do a 1/2 cup of mashed potatoes for your meal, put the 1/2 cup measuring cup in there. So if you get 2 scoops, you automatically know you've had 1 cup of mashed potatoes. Or, you know, put a 1 cup measuring cup in a casserole dish or in a soup. So that works really well for things that you can scoop. Same thing with like dressing. Use the teaspoons and the tablespoons, because a lot of times what I hear is, oh, I have about a teaspoon, not meaning like the little measuring teaspoon, but just a teaspoon that you stir. Those can be different in their sizes. So using actual measuring teaspoons, measuring cups will help you to more accurately track. That way when you go into Myfitnesspal or you're writing it down, you can say the exact amount that you actually had. So the third way to track, which is called the gold standard, this is what I consider at least the gold standard for tracking, is to weigh your food on a scale. So when it comes to using a scale, this is going to be more accurate than using a measuring cup, because think about it this way. If you have, we'll just stick with mashed potatoes. You have a cup of mashed potatoes. You can pack that measuring cup full of mashed potatoes. You can also scoop it and have a heaping 1 cup, where somebody else has a leveled 1 cup, and that's a totally different number, which means it's a totally different amount of calories. So if you are saying 1 cup, it doesn't mean a heaping packed full cup. It means a lightly packed level 1 cup. You could be eating a difference of like 100, maybe 200, depending on the food, calories just in that one meal. So think about if you do that all day long, or if you were guesstimating that you ate 1 cup but it was really 2 cups, you could be very off in your tracking. So that's why I really recommend the scale. It is the most accurate way to do it. If you think about it, 1 cup full of mashed potatoes weighs a different amount than 1 cup that's lightly full and leveled off. So that's why the calories will be so different. Now when you're weighing it, you're getting the exact amount regardless of what measuring utensil or what bowl or plate that you put it on. You know exactly how much it weighs. The other thing with that is that a lot of times the food label will give you the serving size in ounces or grams. And a lot of times we don't think in ounces or grams. We just don't think that way. So it's hard to say what's an ounce or what's a gram look like. So if you're actually using a food scale, you can measure out the exact serving that is listed on the label, or you can say, okay, well, I'm having 2 ounces and 1 ounce is a serving, so I'm eating 2 servings. That's why I really recommend that. So that would be the first that I would say to go to, the gold standard. If you really want to get serious about your tracking, and if you really want to problem solve, figuring out where your extra calories are coming from, use a scale. Make sure you actually know truly how much you're eating. If you just are guessing, that's where we run into problems of not seeing the progress that we think we should be making. It makes us think, well, something wrong with my body, when really we just need to have a better idea of what we're eating. And then, like I said, my goal is for you to ultimately to be able to back away from tracking, to be eating intuitively, mindfully eating how your body feels, and not so worried about the exact number of calories. Like I said, this is a learning process. This is a gradual process that we work on together, and that's my ultimate goal, is to get you there. But you really do need to know how to track first before we get to that spot. So once you are able to track that way, understanding what 1 cup looks like visually, or understanding what 8 ounces looks like visually, gets easier. So that brings you back to place number 1, that estimating, that eyeballing it. So where you can pour a bowl of cereal and you know what that 28 grams looks like, or you know what 4 ounces looks like. Whatever is on the label, you can kind of guess because you've poured it over and over again. So that's kind of a homework tip for you if you feel like, I can't measure things out every day. I want you to consider doing this. Get a bowl. We're just going to use cereal as an example here, but you can do it for whatever foods that you eat, like multiple times a week, or something that you eat every day. I want you to use the same bowl each time, and then I want you to measure it several days in a row, and then kind of make note of where it is on the bowl. So let's say you're eating cereal and it says that a half cup or a 1 cup is a serving. 3/4 cup and 1 cup are usual cereal sizes. So let's say it's a 1 cup serving. Measure that out, pour it in your bowl, make note of where it is in the bowl. Do that several times in a row, and then practice. You can do this as a practice. You can do it over and over again, setting at 1 time, and just practice trying to pour approximately 1 serving. Or practice how much you're going to eat. So if you know you eat more than 1 serving and that's how much you're planning to eat, pour that amount. That way, after a while, you can just pour it in that bowl and you can guesstimate approximately what that 1 serving is for you. So that's a quick way that you can do it to kind of help speed the process if you don't feel like you have the time to track every single day. But like I said, do it over and over again as a homework. Use the same bowl, that's the key. Use the same plate, the same cup, whatever it may be. That way you can make a visual note, like it goes up to this line in the bowl, or in your cup. So those are the 3 ways to track, and like I said, the best way to track is using the food scale to be most accurate. If it's got a label on it, you can scan it. That's going to help you with accuracy instead of just plugging something in at random. So if you have any questions, let me know. Bye, guys.